Dale Morris helped turn Alabama into a groundbreaking country supergroup and played a major role in the rise of Kenny Chesney into one of the genre's biggest touring stars. On August 21, 2026, country music lost one of its great behind-the-scenes visionaries when Dale Morris died at the age of 89. For fans, his death marked the end of an extraordinary chapter in Nashville history. For the artists and family members who knew him personally, it meant losing a mentor, a businessman, a husband, a father, a grandfather, and a man remembered for thinking bigger than almost anyone around him. Morris spent his life chasing possibilities, finding talent, and helping artists imagine careers that others might have thought were impossible. Dale Morris did not begin his journey as a famous manager. His early success came from songwriting. One of his notable achievements was landing Johnny Paycheck in the top 5 with the song "Don't Monkey with Another Monkey's Monkey." But Morris was interested in more than writing songs. He understood that country music was changing and that talented performers needed more than good records. They needed strategy, business vision, powerful live shows, and someone willing to think far beyond the traditional boundaries of Nashville. That realization would shape the rest of his career. Morris eventually moved deeper into the business side of music, building Dale Morris and Associates and creating a reputation as a man who understood how to develop artists for the long term. His first management client was Bobby "Crash" Craddock, but it was another meeting that would transform Morris into one of the most influential managers in country music history. In 1979, Morris was introduced to a young band performing at the Bowery in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The group was called Alabama. At the time, Alabama had talent, ambition, and an unmistakable sound, but the future was far from guaranteed. Morris saw something in them. More importantly, he had ideas about how far they could go. The partnership between Dale Morris and Alabama would change country music. Under Morris's guidance, Alabama became a commercial and touring powerhouse. The band eventually achieved 33 #1 hits on Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart, an extraordinary record for a duo or group. But the numbers tell only part of the story. Morris helped the band think like a major international touring act. He embraced concert production and presentation on a scale that country music had not always experienced before. Morris believed country artists did not have to settle for smaller dreams. Alabama could have massive stages, ambitious productions, and a touring presence comparable to the biggest rock acts of the era. That philosophy helped make the group one of country music's defining acts and opened the door for future artists to think bigger about what a country concert could become. His achievements with Alabama were remarkable. The group became a cultural force, won Major Entertainer of the Year honors, and eventually entered the Country Music Hall of Fame. For Morris, however, one superstar success story was not the end of the journey. Years later, another young artist entered his world. That artist was Kenny Chesney. Chesney had enormous ambition, but becoming a superstar requires more than talent and determination. A career must be carefully built, especially in a competitive industry like country music. Morris recognized something special in Chesney and helped guide the singer through the long process of developing into one of the most successful touring artists in the history of the genre. The relationship between Morris and Chesney became one of the defining partnerships of modern country music. Morris helped the East Tennessee singer expand his vision, build a powerful touring identity, and develop the kind of career that could fill enormous venues year after year. Kenny Chesney eventually became a country music giant, earning multiple Entertainer of the Year awards and building a career defined by hit songs and spectacular live performances. Like Alabama before him, Chesney's success became part of Dale Morris's legacy. Morris was not simply managing individual careers. He was helping redefine what was possible for country artists. Over the decades, Morris worked with or helped guide many other artists, including Martina McBride, Barbara Mandrell, Jake Owen, Old Dominion, Big and Rich, and others. His influence also extended beyond traditional artist management. He built Morris Light and Sound, a staging and production company designed to bring sophisticated technology and presentation to live performances. He created and expanded businesses connected to music, booking, production, and entertainment. In 2018, the Dale Morris Agency was sold to Paradigm, now known as The Times Team, while Morris retained a lasting presence in the industry he had helped shape. Recognition eventually followed the man who had spent so much of his career helping other people stand in the spotlight. In 2010, Morris was inducted into the International Entertainment Buyers Association Hall of Fame. He also received the T.J. Martell Foundation's Tony Martell Lifetime Entertainment Achievement Award in 2014. But achievements and awards were only one part of Dale Morris's story. Behind the powerful manager was a man with a long and deeply rooted family life. Morris was married to his wife, Earline, for 68 years. In an industry often associated with constant change, travel, and instability, their marriage represented a remarkable bond that lasted for most of their lives. Their family included their son, Tim, who sadly preceded Dale Morris in death, as well as daughter-in-law Jennifer, grandchildren Zach, Colton, Nick and Kendall, and great-grandchildren Mary D. and Gus. Those closest to Morris made it clear after his death that family was at the center of who he was. In their remembrance, they described a man who loved life and people but loved his family above everything else. To the public, Dale Morris was a legendary manager. To his family, he was the person who made them feel supported and encouraged them to shine. That personal side is important because the music business could not have been the whole story. Morris's professional world was enormous, filled with artists, agencies, tours, negotiations, and ambitious plans. But after decades of helping build the dreams of others, the relationships closest to him remained among the things his family emphasized most. One subject that should also be handled carefully is Dale Morris's health. Despite his advanced age, there has been no widely reported public history of a specific long-term illness that can be confirmed as the reason for his death. Recent reports announcing his passing did not identify a particular disease or medical condition. For that reason, it would be inaccurate to invent an illness or suggest that he had been publicly battling a specific condition. What is clear is that Morris remained a respected figure in the music business throughout his later years. Even as newer generations of artists and executives entered Nashville, his influence continued through the company he helped build and the people he mentored. Clint Hyam, who began as an intern and later became a longtime business partner, remembered Morris as a man with an extraordinary ability to see potential in people and inspire them to reach beyond their expectations. Perhaps that is the simplest explanation for Dale Morris's remarkable career. He saw possibilities. He saw possibilities in Alabama when they were still a developing band. He saw possibilities in Kenny Chesney when the singer was still fighting to establish himself. He saw possibilities in employees, young artists, and new ideas. And he had the confidence to pursue those possibilities on a scale that could make other people uncomfortable. Dale Morris died on August 21, 2026, at the age of 89. Reports from his representatives said that he died peacefully in his sleep. A specific medical cause of death was not publicly disclosed. That distinction matters. Although he was 89 years old and had lived a very long life, no confirmed illness or specific cause of death has been announced publicly. The information available simply states that he passed away peacefully in his sleep. His death brought an outpouring of memories from across the country music world. For many people, it felt like the end of an era. Dale Morris had spent almost 7 decades in the business, watching country music change from one generation to the next while helping some of its biggest stars grow. His legacy cannot be measured only by awards, chart positions, or ticket sales. It can also be measured by the careers he helped build and the people who learned from him. Alabama and Kenny Chesney may be two of the clearest examples of his impact, but Morris's larger contribution was his willingness to dream beyond the usual limits. Dale Morris spent his life helping other people become legends. And in the end, he became a legend himself. As country music says goodbye to this remarkable manager, one question remains: which part of Dale Morris's legacy do you think will be remembered the most? His work with Alabama, his partnership with Kenny Chesney, or the way he changed country music's approach to live touring? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy stories about the lives and legacies of country music's greatest figures, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more.